you know how it is. I'm not even gonna get into that debate. I love to stay away from politics, race, and religion, but they'll show you your true colors now.
And so here we go again, back with another one. Welcome back to the Dark Times channel. And before I get started, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button for me. And if you're not new to the channel and you've been enjoying the content so far on this channel, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me as well. And so let's go ahead and dive in. We got to talk about a conversation that came up between Shannon Sharpe and Ochocinco.
Diamond DeShield received racist threats after Caitlin Clark flagrant foul. Many are attributing this to Chicago's sometimes cover foul ball. They don't do that in basketball. She didn't make a play on the ball. She ran into her. She sideswiped.
But those kind of things happen, especially when the other team is without their best player. They're down by 20 with a couple of minutes left in the game, and you still got your best players in the game. There's going to be a level of frustration, and individuals are going to let out their frustration on the players that are going off. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. It's human nature. That's why typically when the team's on the road, especially when the team's on the road, they'll take out their best players, especially when there's only a couple of minutes left in the game and you're up by 20.
This was an easy call. She didn't make a play on the ball. She just sideswiped it. But yeah, I don't get in all that threatening and calling somebody all out their name. I can just imagine the threats that she received in her DM or what was on her page. I can just imagine.
And so absolutely, fans have a right to be upset. Fanatics have a right to be upset if Caitlin Clark gets pushed to the ground, if she gets roughed house a little bit. Absolutely. If you're a Caitlin Clark fan, if you're an Indiana Fever fan, you have the right to be upset. You should boo that player. Every time they come into your stadium, you should boo them. But when they take it to this other level, when they take it to the R-word level, and y'all know what I'm talking about, then that's when people have an issue. It's like, wait a minute, hold up. How do you get from a basketball game to saying some of the most vile and inhumane things about another person based on their skin color? How do we take it to that level? And the answer is you don't take it to that level unless that level was already in you to begin with.
But people didn't need for her hometown paper to put that on the front page in order to do. They had already made their mind up. They were sitting there. Yeah. I can just imagine. I think we could all imagine what was said.
Most definitely, especially when you're upset. When you upset the other side, they don't care. They don't care.
And so absolutely, when it comes to that other side, everything goes out the window. And all of a sudden it's racial. The two highest rated games for the season was the Indiana Fever at Chicago Sky on June 23rd. And then the Chicago Sky at the Indiana Fever on June 16th. Those are the two highest rated games of the season. And so that lets you know exactly what time it is. There's an obvious racial dynamic to Caitlin Clark's popularity. People want to watch her play, but they really want to watch her play against Angel Reese. And vice versa. Angel Reese fans, they want to watch her play, but they really want to watch her play against Caitlin Clark. It's the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson playbook all over again. Nothing new.
She is the Michael Jordan. Like, I know you're not a major basketball
player,
but she is the Michael Jordan of female basketball. Every single player in that league, every single coach, manager, janitor, anyone who has anything to do with that league should be bowing at the altar of this woman.
And that's the problem with Caitlin Clark fans in a nutshell. It's not good enough to acknowledge that Caitlin Clark is a good player. She's a great player. It's not enough to acknowledge that. From the get-go, from the jump, they wanted everybody to bow and kiss the ring. For a player that's never won anything on any level. And a prime example of where we're at in America, and perhaps where we've always been at in America, and perhaps where we always will be at in America. A good example of that is what went down this summer with the Women's USA basketball team, in which you had people that were rooting against the United States women's basketball team, all because Caitlin Clark was left off the roster.
I saw Pat Bev being like, can you believe people weren't rooting, Americans obviously, for the U.S.? Well, let me say this as clearly, as bluntly, as straightforward as I can. I was rooting against them, and I want France to beat them by 1,000 points. I don't care that I'm American.
And so there it is. We have individuals like this that will go ahead and just lay it all out there, go ahead and lay their cards out and tell you exactly where their loyalties lie. And Dave Petroni is one of these guys that's pretty much in the open with his feelings on certain things and about certain people. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that. But he's not an outlier. He's not the only one. I'm not even gonna say he's in the minority. A lot of people think and feel just like him.
I would love to be in a position as Americans to watch the Olympic Games and support Team USA and our women's basketball team and every team representing the United States of America, because it's the Summer Olympics and it only happens once every 4 years. And it's what we do as patriots. We root on our country, regardless if we disagree with them, if we don't like decisions made by the team, whatever. We're going to root for them because it's America versus the world. I'd love to be able to say that and do that and know that the ratings are going to be great and that we're going to watch it. I also live in reality, and I know that less of you are going to watch the Summer Olympics, the women's basketball portion of it, because Caitlin Clark isn't playing a lot for that team. Let's all watch the Olympics because it's the United States versus the world, and let's cheer on the American representatives that are out there competing for gold medals. But those things have a tendency to just snowball and go downhill. And now what we're going to have, and I can go ahead and I'll tell you the future right now. First time U.S. women's national team struggles, the women's basketball team.
Yeah.
At the Olympics, they could be down at halftime to someone, whatever. Half of America is going to celebrate that because they didn't take Caitlin Clark. Websites are going to point out, look at this failing women's national team, the U.S., that snubbed Caitlin Clark, and they're reaping what they sow now. They're going to cheer on whatever the hell country they're playing. Croatia. I don't know who's in the tournament. France. They're going to become big fans of the French all of a sudden and root against them over the United States of America because they disagree with that whole deal. That kills me. That kills me. I understand that division sells. I don't care personally. When it comes to the Olympics, if you put on the red, white, and blue, and you are, here's where I'm going to go, Mr. Patriot, on this, because being Mr. Patriot also tends to sell. When you plaster your face on something and talk about commandos killing people or whatever, that seems to be something that generates stuff. This is me being Mr. Patriot. I want the United States to do well. Is that a controversial hot take? No. I want them to do well with Caitlin Clark or without Caitlin Clark. Don't care. I want them to dominate the rest of the world because I'm an American and I'm proud of the country, and I'm going to root for them against all other countries all over the world. I'm all red, white, and blue, baby, when it comes to this. And I'm going to watch the Olympics regardless if I agree or disagree with the participants competing in any sporting event, and I'm going to root against every other country in the world when they're playing against them.
So what I would say is,
but I'm not,
and you're right.
But I'm an outlier here. I really am the outlier on this one, and I know it.
Well, there's no.
And so I couldn't have said it better myself. He pretty much summed up everything that I've been talking about. But go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section and let me know how y'all feel on this one. And make sure you guys hit that like button on your way out. And as usual, peace and chaos.